The search for missing 5-year-old Harmony Montgomery now stretching past New England and beyond that state into Florida. Her father, Adam Montgomery, has been charged with second-degree murder in her death, but a body has not been found in the case. They do presume that she was killed. Police are searching now a marshy area of Massachusetts. That search took place on Friday. Here with more on the latest in the case, retired special agent with the FBI and NewsNation law and justice contributor Jennifer Coffindaffer. Jennifer, you and I have talked about this case since the very beginning when it was thought there was a chance Harmony was still alive. What are you hearing about this particular area, this marsh called the Revere Wetlands, and what, if anything, they've been able to find?
Well, from looking at the searches that they conducted, unfortunately, it doesn't appear that they found anything. We never saw any tents go up. We did see the grid searching occurring. And they have come out and said, of course, they're not going to comment on what they did or didn't find. But Marni, this would be extremely difficult to find anything here after this long a period of time, and because of the marshlands, just the environment being wet and salty and all the issues that they would face in a body surviving that condition.
How important is it for prosecutors right now to find this little girl's body to try to get a conviction? Her father, Adam Montgomery, faces trial later on this summer. He's charged in her murder. Without a body, how much more challenging is that going to be?
Marni, it's going to be more challenging. Anytime you don't have a body, it's just more difficult to prove the death and the manner of death, even though there is going to be eyewitness testimony as to what happened from Caleb. But a body would be or any part of her body would be very helpful for that prosecution.
The other development in this case is in Florida. Jennifer, detectives have gone to Florida. They are speaking with family members of Adam Montgomery. What more are you hearing about the questions that they are asking and any evidence they're able to pull together about the timeline of events and what happened to this little girl?
Well, as far as the timeline of events, it's going to be helpful. But remember, the people that they're interviewing is very expansive. The reason is they prepare for trial, which is right now scheduled for August. I would anticipate that being pushed out, Marni. But that trial, they have to interview everyone. And I believe it's because of these interviews that led them to those wetlands to look there for her body.
And part of what I've been reading, according to a grand jury indictment and also some local reports in that area, is detectives were questioning Adam Montgomery's father and grandmother, and they shared with them information about Harmony's death and the way that she was killed, even going so far as saying that Adam hit her in the head with a closed fist multiple times. What might be their strategy in trying to garner information from these people to locate her?
Well, as this case continues to evolve, we're going to have more and more witnesses that were close to Adam, that were close to Harmony, that were close to that situation, that are going to come forward. And as they build their case, when you have multiple people saying the exact same thing in terms of how she was murdered, it becomes very strong, Marni.
So what do you anticipate? You think the trial will be pushed out? Why is that? Just evidence gathering?
Well, I think it's going to be pushed out based on actually information received from one of the law enforcement officers that was interviewed, and he anticipated that it might be pushed out. There's a lot more that they're gathering. Of course, we're just seeing this new development of them going down to Florida and conducting interviews, this brand new development of looking in these waterways. So I see that more information is pouring in and it could postpone.
What do you think the role will be with local authorities in this case? Many were critical of Child and Family Services' involvement, that this little girl was missing for so long before it was made public. And we've spoken to family members who came out and said, we wanted more help looking for her. As a trial proceeds, will they have any role? Will they face any sort of consequences for lack of action, as some criticize that they had or hadn't done?
Well, we've already seen some changes being made in that Child Protective Service environment. Thank goodness, because there was no reason why Harmony Montgomery was allowed to live and be under the, thumb and in the household of Adam Montgomery, and they never even checked on the environment, particularly in regard to his criminal history. How could anyone deem that an appropriate parent? And nobody looked at that environment. Now, because of Harmony and pushes that have been made within DCYF, they've changed some of that. And now, before a parent can get custody, they are allowed to go look at their environment first.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.